Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you how to use our link checker tool. So this tool will scan any website and it will check all your outbound links to make sure that you are not accidentally linking to a website that you really don't want to be linking to. And an example of how that might happen, somebody might post a blog comment on your website and they might put in their own website that's about gambling or something because they want a link from your website to their website. Another way it often happens is you might link to, for example, a website about cooking. You might link to your favorite recipe on that website, but then if that author loses interest in their blog or their business goes down the drain, then that website will eventually expire. The domain will come up for auction or just standard purchase. Someone will buy it and they might repurpose it into a PBN or an adult website or a gambling website, or something you really don't want to be linking to. And there's obviously loads of reasons you don't want to be linking to those sites, but I'll just briefly go over the main two. Firstly, if someone's at work and they're on your website and they click a link expecting to see something about, for example, cooking, and they end up on an adult website, that is a very awkward conversation that they're going to have with their work, so that is a terrible user experience for them and quite damaging for your brand. And secondly, if your website is, for example, about cooking and Google sees you're linking out to adult or farmer or gambling websites, then that is not a good signal to Google that you're, a legitimate website and you're definitely in that niche. So that's another reason. So there's a lot of configurable checks here, and we'll go through these now and explain how the tool works and how it finds those websites. So first off, up here, pretty simple, enter the website you want to scan for those bad spammy outbound links. Now there's lots of different niches of spammy websites that we look for. So we've broken them down into certain categories. So finance, spammy links, so that could be things like payday loan websites, foreign links, so if your website's all in English and you've got no reason to be linking to a foreign website, if we check an outbound link and we see that website is full of like Russian or something, then we'll flag that. Obviously you could turn all of these settings off or on. Gambling is another one. Replica counterfeit items is another one. Farmer items, so that's things like Viagra and things like that. Adult links, you don't want to be linking to porn websites, obviously. And then we've got just MISC ones, so that's things like free movies, torrent download, Pirate Bay, old software, just sort of general weight loss pills, just sort of general spammy stuff that you don't see that often, but it's obviously spammy if you do see it, so we've just put it in a MISC category. And then finally, we'll check for links that have been flagged as malicious by Google's Safe Browsing database. So we'll extract all your outbound links, and at the end of the scan, we'll file them all at Google's big database of websites that are doing sort of naughty hacking things, and you really don't want to be linking to those websites. In fact, it wouldn't actually surprise me if Google saw that you are linking to a website that's in its database of malicious websites. It may in fact push your website down the rankings just to protect users that might go on your page and then click through to that malicious website. So that's definitely something you want to check. So obviously if your website is in any of these niches, then untick it, because you'll probably be linking to websites that will be flagged as in these categories. So if you own a website, a legitimate website in the finance niche, offering legitimate legal loans, then you may want to untick that, because you'll probably be linking to some websites and they might contain some of these spammy words that we look for. But if you have no reason to be linking to finance websites, then obviously keep it checked. So all the words that we check for when we scan an outbound link and we load their content and we check what their content is about, all the words that we look for to determine if it's a spammy link or not are all editable. So if you think there's any that will flag as a false positive, you can remove them before the scan. So let's go down, look at some more of the settings. So if you own a website and you think perhaps sometimes websites get hacked and they can show links to Google but not show the same links to a normal user. So if you own a website and you think something weird's going on, you think in your search console you can see lots of links to gambling websites, but you can't find those links anywhere on your website, even when you look in the HTML, then your website might be hacked and it might be serving up different links when Google crawls it. So one way to check is with the Google user agent, but you wouldn't normally use that most of the time. And then we've got only show each outbound link once. That just keeps things easier to see, to read. And then we've got automatically trust well-known domains. So if there's a well-known domain in there and that list is built from part of the Majestic Million list, then we will automatically trust it. We won't even bother scanning it because we know we don't need to check, like if you're linking to Facebook, we don't need to check that Facebook's safe, etc. And that will speed up the scans. And then finally here we've got the amount of concurrent connections that we'll scan the website with. So if you know the website will accept a lot of connections from a single IP address without blocking it, then feel free to crank it up. But if you're unsure, I'd probably just keep it down at 5, and that will scan most websites with no IP blocking issues. So now we've gone through settings, we'll kick off a scan, and then we'll go through a few random websites, show you some spammy links we found, show you a few false positives we found maybe, and just show you how the tool works and what the results look like. So we just scanned our own website quickly. You can see it went through 112 pages really quickly there. And we don't have many outbound links on our website, or just a few on the home page. And you can see that all the websites we're linking to, we've loaded their content, and we can see they don't look spammy in any way. The only thing we flagged is that on this Indian website, there's some foreign characters. And every time an issue is flagged, you can click this little button and it will tell you exactly why it's flagged it as a potential issue. So let's scan a few more websites and we'll find some bad links. So we've scanned just a big random cooking website, and we can see it's picked up a few links here they probably don't know they have. So we can see, we'll just pick one at random. So we can see this website here has been flagged as a gambling website based on these words being found in its content. You can see it's linking out from this page to this site. So we'll open those up and we'll have a look at them. So we'll open this up. As you can see, yes, it is a gambling website. And then we'll open up the page that it's been linked from. And if we view the source, use rd-, we should find, there we go, the link. So it's definitely there. I wonder how it got there. So it was a blog comment. Domain's probably expired and been repurposed. Or maybe it's someone who just wants lots of no-follow backlinks to their gambling website. As you can see, that's a good find, because we don't want people linking out to that. And here we've got a different website we scanned, so you can see we flagged a gambling site there. That's probably been repurposed. Yeah, there we go. That's expired and it's been repurposed into a casino site. Now I'll just go through some of these filters because sometimes we can find content on a website that can be misinterpreted. So for example, when we're looking for adult niche sites, there might be health sites that talk about adult issues, and sometimes they can be flagged as adult sites when I guess technically they are, but they might be sort of legitimate, it might not be porn sites, they might just be sites about adult stuff, health stuff. So we'll go through some of these filters because they can be quite useful for getting rid of those false positives. So if you want, you can turn down the sensitivity so that only really obvious, sort of, in this example, adult sites are flagged. And if you want to be absolutely certain that you've got every link double, triple checked, then you can turn the sensitivity all the way up, but that will give you more false positives. And these filters here are pretty obvious. You can just filter down to various types of issues by unticking those. This filter here allows you to search through your URLs, your anchor text, through the outbound links as well. That's pretty useful. So that concludes a basic demo of the tool. Hopefully you can see how useful it is. You can just point it at a website, it'll scan all your outbound links and check to see if they're the sort of links that you really don't want for obvious reasons, really bad user experience, if someone clicks out to them and it's an adult or a gambling website, especially if they're at work. And also it's a bad SEO signal to Google. If your website's about phishing, you're linking out to porn and gambling websites, so, or even worse, malicious websites that might install malware or something like that. So that concludes the demo. I hope you find the tool useful, and as always, thank you for watching.